Let me now bring on board aviation veteran Mr. Ajay Singh. Ajay, morning. Thank you for joining us. Your first reaction to the fact that FDI in aviation sector has been increased to 49%. How will this change the dynamics for the entire sector?
Well, it's not been increased at the moment. I think there is a proposal which will be taken to Cabinet post the approval of the group of secretaries and the meeting between the aviation minister and the finance minister yesterday. One hopes that this can be carried forward, and I do think that this time the Cabinet is likely to approve this increase in FDI. This has been a demand of the aviation industry for a long time, because we could not really understand why, if in sectors like telecom and others, which were previously thought to be security sensitive sectors, if in those sectors FDI could be allowed up to 74%, why could it not be done in aviation? As you know, in aviation 49% FDI was allowed, but it was just that foreign airlines were not allowed to come into the sector. And now if this is allowed, I think it's very good news for the sector. It will bring in both capital as well as linkages as well as expertise. So on all counts, you get good quality capital, you get people who want to expand in India, bringing in their expertise and their management, and you also get linkages in terms of people flying in and network connections through those flights, which will increase business for the aviation sector. So all in all, I think it's a very good step for the sector.
Mr. Singh, if the foreign carriers are allowed to pick 49% stake in Indian carriers, do you believe that foreign carriers will actually consider stake purchase in airlines? A lot of the companies, airline companies in India, given the dismal state of the aviation sector right now?
I don't think they have a choice really, because despite the fact that airlines are not doing particularly well overseas, India and China and the Asian markets are really the markets where there is growth. Last year, despite the dismal situation all around, India still grew at 18%. So future profits, at least medium to long-term profits, are going to come from countries like India and China and Southeast Asia. So airlines across the world need to be in this part of the world. China, the market is pretty closed to foreign airlines, which makes India the most attractive possible market. So despite the fact that the sector is not currently doing particularly well, people will invest in the country, and we hope that government can create conditions in which the sector starts to do a lot better than it is doing today.
Do you think indirectly this is a bailout for non-efficiency as well, because there is currently a turmoil in the entire aviation industry, and this move in a sense will only promote inefficiency?
Well, eventually the market will determine which airline is going to survive and which is not going to survive. Even in terms of foreign investment, foreign airlines are not just going to come in and start to invest money in inefficient airlines. So the airlines which will get money are people that are relatively efficient. Airlines that have lower cost structures, that have better business models. So in a sense, FDI will actually promote efficiency, because investment will gravitate towards those airlines that are more efficient.
What about the debt problems that these companies are facing, and also overcapacity, low yields? You think all these issues can be handled better if there's some sort of foreign participation and direction?
Certainly. For one, as you know, the sector grew 18%, and despite that, with 60 million air trips, you're still looking at some 2 or 2.5% of Indians that are flying today. So clearly, if we can, make some adjustments in terms of lowering the cost of aviation in this country, there is bound to be growth. There will be growth anyway, but there will be faster growth if some adjustments are made. Certainly, airlines will need to tackle their debt issues. Banks will not lend further unless there are business models which are viable. So people will have to make their businesses more efficient. They will need to cut debt. They will need to infuse equity. Hopefully some of this FDI will go towards cutting that debt and creating more viable models in the long run. Certainly airlines will have to look at drastically curtailing loss-making routes, creating perhaps smaller, more efficient operations, and focusing hard on cost, and lobbying government for certain changes in policy that are still required.
Ajay, globally, if I look at the entire aviation sector, the scenario is not very stable. So if I look at the right side of the globe, you've got Emirates and then you've got British Airways. There is a trouble there. If I look on the left side, companies like Qantas, they are in deep trouble. Do you think any of the global carriers, they have deep pockets to invest in a market like India?
Well, despite the fact that they may not have the deepest possible pockets at this time, they still need to take bets on India. Because if you look at the global scenario, Europe is hardly likely to do particularly well in the next few years. The American market is completely saturated, which leaves pretty much only the Asian markets. And for airlines to make any sort of money, it will have to come from Asia in the future. The growth is here, the money is here, and of course they may have trouble investing at this point of time, but they will have to raise money and try and get into this country.
The other aspect is the government mulling airlines to import ATF directly, implying that airline companies would not have to pay sales tax. To what extent will the cost of airlines get impacted due to this? How will it impact the profitability and margins of Spicejet?
Well, roughly 50% of the cost today, 45 to 50% is aviation turbine fuel, and sales tax goes up to all the way up to 30% in some states. So you're talking a significant reduction, 8 to 15% sort of reduction in total cost if you're allowed to import directly. So it's something that needs to be done to lower cost of aviation. Of course, over the coming couple of years, I would presume that the price of oil should come down globally because of the fact that there seems to be a recession, a global recession at this time. And also we expect that rupee is going to appreciate over the next 12 months or so. So both those should bring down cost, and on top of that, if we can also get to import ATF directly, that should further bring down cost. So that will certainly make airlines a lot more cost efficient, and hopefully help increase demand even further.
Ajay, Spicejet is an extremely efficient airline, and that is one airline where promoters have just infused more capital, so the equity base is not a problem. There's hardly any debt there apart from some working capital requirement. Do you think a company like Spicejet, they actually need more foreign money?
Well, that's really for Spicejet management to look at, but certainly the network would be very important. I mean, if you get in foreign investors and build on their network, that linkage itself would be pretty important. And in aviation, some cash is always useful. So I would think that airlines like Spicejet or Indigo certainly would look at foreign partners.
10 seconds to answer this one, Ajay. 49% FDI in aviation, will that make life more miserable for Indian carriers, or will this move make Indian carriers more efficient?
I would definitely think it would make Indian carriers more efficient. It's a welcome move. It's been long sort of expected, and it's great that it's happening now.